Imagine a security operation so massive that it rivals military war zones, one designed not for a battlefield, but for a single day in Washington, D.C. When Donald Trump took the oath of office, his inauguration wasn't just a political event. It was a billion-dollar fortress, guarded by thousands of armed personnel, cutting-edge technology, and invisible defenses the public never saw. But why did Trump's inauguration require one of the most extensive security operations in U.S. history? What threats were officials anticipating? And just how far did they go to protect the incoming president? The answers might surprise you. Presidential inaugurations are always high-security events. The nation's capital was transformed into a virtual fortress, with snipers on rooftops, military-style barricades, and an unprecedented level of surveillance. Over 28,000 security personnel were deployed, including the Secret Service, FBI, National Guard, and local law enforcement. Fighter jets patrolled the skies, and an anti-drone defense system was in place to prevent aerial threats. But what made Trump's inauguration so different? Was it the political climate, the potential threats, or something else entirely? Many factors contributed to the extreme measures taken that day, from nationwide protests to intelligence reports warning of possible violence. With the world watching, security officials were prepared for anything. But were all these precautions truly necessary, or was there more happening behind the scenes? As we take a closer look at the billion-dollar security operation behind Trump's inauguration, you'll discover hidden layers of protection, secret contingency plans, and the real reasons why this event became one of the most heavily guarded days in American history. January 20, 2017, Washington, D.C. was on high alert. The streets were lined with barricades, police in riot gear stood at every corner, and military vehicles rumbled through the nation's capital. Over 900,000 people gathered to witness Donald Trump's swearing-in, but not all were there in celebration. Massive protests erupted across the city, with some turning violent. Intelligence agencies had warned of potential threats ranging from lone wolf attacks to organized riots, and security officials weren't taking any chances. The security measures were staggering. A 3.5-mile perimeter was established around the National Mall, equipped with security checkpoints and metal detectors. Over 40,000 law enforcement officers and military personnel were deployed, supported by K-9 units, surveillance drones, and radiation detectors. Cybersecurity teams monitored online threats, while sharpshooters took positions on rooftops, scanning for any sign of danger. Even the airspace above D.C. was restricted, with fighter jets on standby to intercept any unauthorized aircraft. This wasn't just an ordinary presidential transition, it was a security challenge unlike any before. The deeply divided political climate, the rise of extremist threats, and the sheer scale of the event made it a logistical nightmare. But just how far did officials go to ensure Trump's safety? The real story goes deeper than anyone imagined. As the world watched Donald Trump's inauguration, few realized just how many threat security agencies were bracing for behind the scenes. Officials had received intelligence reports warning of possible coordinated attacks, both physical and cyber. There were concerns about extremist groups infiltrating the crowds, armed protests spiraling out of control, and even the possibility of an airborne attack. The FBI, Secret Service, and the Department of Homeland Security worked around the clock to prevent worst-case scenarios. But some of the most advanced security measures remained hidden from public view. Beneath the streets of Washington, D.C., underground command centers buzzed with activity, monitoring every movement on the ground. Highly trained counter-sniper teams were stationed in undisclosed locations, ready to neutralize any threat within seconds. Specialized units were prepared to respond to chemical, biological, or even radiological attacks. And in the sky, surveillance aircraft equipped with infrared cameras and facial recognition software scanned the massive crowd for any suspicious activity. Even the iconic presidential limousine, nicknamed the Beast, was a fortress on wheels. It was equipped with reinforced armor, bulletproof glass, and a sealed air supply to protect against chemical attacks. Inside, Trump had direct access to classified communications and a supply of emergency blood, matched to his blood type. The price tag for this level of security? Over $100 million, a staggering sum for a single-day event. But was it enough? Protesters clashed violently with police just blocks from the Capitol, leading to over 200 arrests. Meanwhile, foreign cyber threats targeted government networks, forcing officials to take extreme precautions. With so much at stake, one question remained. Was this unprecedented security effort truly necessary, or was there an even greater threat lurking behind the scenes, one the public was never told about? Just as Donald Trump placed his hand on the Bible to take the oath of office, security teams held their breath. This was the most vulnerable moment of the day. Millions of eyes were on the stage, but behind the scenes, the real tension was unfolding. In a secure command center, intelligence officials monitored multiple threats in real time. One of the biggest concerns wasn't just physical attacks, it was a coordinated cyber assault. Hours before the ceremony, reports surfaced of hacking attempts targeting DC's power grid and communication networks. Cybersecurity teams worked frantically to neutralize these threats, preventing a potential blackout that could have thrown the entire event into chaos. Meanwhile, on the ground, Secret Service agents responded to multiple suspicious activities. One involved a man attempting to bypass security checkpoints with a fake credential, prompting an immediate lockdown in a restricted area. Another incident saw law enforcement intercept a small drone flying dangerously close to the Capitol, despite strict no-fly orders. Officials never publicly disclosed whether these were legitimate threats or distractions, but they were treated with the highest level of urgency. Perhaps the most chilling moment came when a heavily armed protest group attempted to push past barricades near the National Mall. Riot police and National Guard units were deployed within minutes, preventing what could have turned into a full-scale assault on the event. Over 200 people were arrested that day, some carrying weapons and explosives. Even after the swearing-in ceremony ended, security forces remained on high alert. Every parade route was scanned. Every hotel Trump would visit was swept multiple times, and the motorcade was constantly surrounded by armed vehicles. Intelligence agencies had received vague but credible threats about an attack after the ceremony, something that had never been publicly confirmed. Looking back, it's clear that Trump's inauguration was not just a political transition. It was a battlefield of invisible threats, each requiring split-second decisions from some of the most highly trained security personnel in the world. The question remains, did authorities successfully prevent all possible dangers, or were there threats we still don't know about? And more importantly, what does this level of security reveal about the future of presidential inaugurations in an increasingly unpredictable world? Donald Trump's inauguration security revealed just how far officials are willing to go to protect a president in today's volatile world. From cyber threats to physical confrontations, it was clear that the risks were far greater than anyone might have assumed. The real story behind the billion-dollar fortress was not just about preventing danger, it was about anticipating threats that most of us will never know existed. As we move forward, we must ask ourselves, what does this level of preparedness say about the future of national security, and how will it shape the way we view public events in the years to come? If you found this insight into the billion-dollar security operation behind Trump's inauguration surprising, make sure to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe for more behind-the-scenes stories and deep dives into world-changing events. Got thoughts or questions? Drop a comment below. We'd love to hear what you think. And if you think others would find this story fascinating, share it with your friends to spread the knowledge. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more captivating content.